Following the ban on Nigeria, the visa ban on Nigeria, the 28 delegates being smuggled into Tinubu's COP entourage was only chance to do Christmas in Dubai. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in to listen. Please subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post hot juicy news updates. Please click on the notification bell. As President Bola Tinubu continues to endure the collective backlash of Nigerians over his perceived squandering of scarce federal resources on a junket for climate discussion in which Nigeria was not slated to play any critical or unique role, Govt has learned that some of those on the 1,400 delegation to Dubai saw an opportunity to circumvent the cumbersome and increasingly futile process of obtaining an Emirati visa and ticket. Mr. Tinubu's participation at the so-called Conference on Parties COP28 Global Climate Summit has been overshadowed by his profligate use of public funds at a time of untold economic hardship for the vast majority of Nigeria's 200 million people. The United Nations received 1,411 people from Nigeria at the opening of the event on October 30th. Official disclosure said out of which at least 589 people were direct federal employees under Mr. Tinubu's administration. Nigeria's delegation surpassed that of the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union, per UN disclosures, even though Mr. Tinubu himself criticized emission cuts being pushed at global climate fora as detrimental to Nigeria's industrialization and overall economic growth. The official list of attendees also indicated an undetermined number of other federal employees attached to the Ministry of Information and other federal ministries, departments, and agencies on the trip, whereas some people on the list appear to be genuine climate change experts and activists who are sponsored by private non-profit. An analysis of those on the trip showed the government picked the biggest tab, which easily runs into billions. Rank-and-file civil servants also made the trip, including some whose purviews did not cover climate policy, like an Interior Ministry aide in charge of personnel management. The president's son, Sheyi, who has no official designation and was recently warned by his father to stop meddling in government functions, was also at the conference on public dole. On Saturday afternoon, the Govt heard from 4 different delegates on the trip who said they hustled their respective apartments to be accommodated on the trip in order to escape having to apply for visas to the UAE on their own, which has become nearly impossible for Nigerians over the past year. 3 of the delegates are private individuals, while the last person is an official of one of the federal agencies regulating hydrocarbons, the Gazette can report. The delegates secured guarantees of anonymity from a reporter before agreeing to speak on the controversial issue. 2 of them said there were over 3,000 people who secured visas to Dubai on the back of the conference, but many of them did not show up at the conference venue at all, hence the smaller number released by the UN administrators. I was informed by the ministry director that the trip was coming up and he agreed to put me on the trip after explaining to him that my sister lives in Dubai and I would like to see her and stay for Christmas. The civil servant said, and I quote, he quickly asked his secretary to add my name. It was a smooth process for me, so I imagine it was smooth for about 3,000 others who also obtained their visas this way. The official went on to introduce our reporter to 3 other individuals who also made the trip, with one explaining their ties to a bank in Lagos. Even as a banker, I could not get a visa to Dubai for so long. Some travel agents said they could get me a UAE visa earlier this year, but it was too expensive, so I had to let go back then, the delegate said. So when this opportunity came, I quickly jumped on it. Another one said they were not even at the venue of the conference, even though it has been on the way since November 30th. I'll be honest and say I don't even know the venue. The person said, I quickly got an apartment when I arrived and I'll be spending the Christmas and New Year here. The individual sidestepped the ethical questions about gaining the system in this manner and were also not concerned about whether or not this could potentially complicate Nigeria's ability to timely resolve the ban with the UAE. Whether or not the presidency knew that thousands of people were issued visas without any basis remained unclear as of Sunday morning. A spokesman for the president deflected a question about the matter to the Federal Capital Secretary Office, which did not return an inquiry from the Gazette on the matter. The UAE had in October 2022 placed a general visa ban on all Nigerians, including citizens of at least 17 other countries. The Gulf giant alleged growing criminal activities linked to Nigerians, capitalizing on the viral video of a group of cultists ensnared in a break-in as evidence of rising defiance among immigrants of African origin. The restrictions had deprived tens of thousands of people with Nigerian passports of being able to enter Dubai, which until last year was the top shopping destination for the country's upper middle class and political and business elite families. The president assumed office in late May with a promise to cut public waste and improve the country's crisis, which economists concluded was exacerbated by the laziness and brazen looting of his predecessor Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Tinubu, who assumed office on a thin mandate of just 36% of the vote, with a record of public corruption, identity theft, and drug dealing, saw initial public transport when he removed subsidies on petrol upon assuming office, but with 6 months into his administration and no introduction of any serious welfare services to sustain the poor, concerns are mounting about whether the Lagos politicians sought the highest office strictly to demystify it. Yet, his administration has sought to end the 3-year-long visa restrictions on Nigerians, and the president himself directly met with Emirati authorities in September to discuss the crisis. He claimed by the presidential spokesman that the restrictions had been listed without preconditions was subsequently exposed, as falsehood also reported to have irritated the Emirates. Welcome. Okay, now let me say this. If it is found out that it is true, what will be done to those people? It is found out that true. To me, it's not going to go down well. Oh. This is trouble. When I heard of the figure 1,411, I concluded it was for sports. Now they're not having people sneak into Dubai under the guise of, then go talk, say, imagine, make we come outside as a people. All right. When we offered P2B a trader to help us with When we offered P2B a trader to help to revive Nigeria that was killed by APC, they said Tinubu built Lagos. Tell us the company Tinubu has in Nigeria. No way. Yoruba entered a big cutty of Emiloko. Now everyone is suffering because the first thing the devil did is to take away your happiness. They took away the only thing masses are benefiting. For subsidy. Karma must continue. Must continue punishing you. Really? Alright, on this note, you have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for. Alright, on this note, you have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time.